This is Limitless Podcast, soon to be the most epic, badass, liberating podcast of all of humanity. Known by everyone you know soon. Believe it. You know it, you know it, you know it. And remember, this is the podcast where we remind you of your infinite potential, how this is your reality. You create your reality. This is your kingdom if you allow it to be, because you are God if you allow yourself to be. And you can do anything. We can do anything. Because we are limitless. Yo, what's up, guys? So I just want to make another really quick in-house video. I think what I'm gonna do, moving forward with this podcast, is like I said, I'm not gonna have a set way with how I do it. If I want to make 10 in-house videos in a row, I'll do it. If I want to make 10 channeling ones in a row, I'll do that. And I'm not gonna worry about how long they are. So this is gonna be a really short episode, but it's a deep episode. So in a way, it's probably good that's gonna be shorter because it give you guys something to think about. But something I just want to share with you guys that I've been going through today is I've kind of been dealing with you know spirit guides that I'm kind of upset with based on how they've handled my journey in awakening, and I figured it would make a good topic to post on here. So, you know how I talk about how there's infinite realities, right? And that the multiverse is real. Something you guys need to understand is that the higher realms don't always necessarily have it figured out too. And because there's infinite of those realms too. That's what I'm basically trying to get at. And so at the end of the day, it's just good to kind of ground yourself and remind yourself that this is your reality, and that you can basically fire guides and banish guides. So if you feel a higher spirit guide of yours or a guardian has kind of betrayed you, and you just don't agree with the way that they go about things, you can just step away. And it's best to just step away and ground yourself and push them out, so to speak, rather than I guess seeking revenge and trying to astrally attack them and all that. I'm not gonna tell you guys to not, though, because I mean it really just depends. I'm not gonna say how to handle it. I mean, if it's in the moment and you can take them on and you feel like they genuinely betrayed you to the point where they need to get their ass kicked, that's up to you and your own shit. But you know what I'm trying to say. Genuinely, it's just not worth it, though, because it's just gonna lead to your own peace of mind being disrupted. So, I mean, yeah, if it's in the moment and you can deal with it right then and there, sure. But if you can't deal with it and you're not face to face with them, it's more of a distance, telepathy, just banish them, walk away, you know. Remind yourself that this is your kingdom, that you create your reality, therefore this is your kingdom, and that you no longer wish for their presence with your divine sovereignty. Do that, clear it, get back on your shit. Remember, there's infinite on infinite possibilities. It's like a labyrinth, instead of like looking at the what ifs and getting lost down the rabbit holes, stay focused on you in the center and click and drag what you want into your experience, if that makes sense. And like when you're looking for shit to click and drag into your experience, don't forget that that's what you're doing in the first place and get lost in the rabbit holes because it's endless. You'll go from rabbit hole to rabbit hole to rabbit hole to rabbit hole because it's literally infinite. You know, there's infinite realities. Like, you'll never get to the end of your lore. So, and you'll be like, is this why they did it? Were they working for this dark being? Or you could just be like, did this human witch that I know send them? And like, if if you assume that that's the case, it will manifest and like it'll keep changing. Like you'll be like, was this their motives behind it? And if you say yes, then it will be. And if you say no, then it won't be because there's two timelines where both of those are real. So it's just not worth the hassle. So I just wanted to make this because, I'm dealing with a guide of mine that thought that it would be a good idea to basically, this is what they said. Like, one of my guides basically had me on a 5-year long journey, maybe more, to finding them because they had spoken to me once and then they kind of just up and left. And now I'm finding out that they've been here the whole time and that they literally did it just to teach me a lesson because suffering's important and it can teach you a lot. And I agree that suffering can teach you a lot, but I'm not, like, me personally, I'm not aligned to that way of thinking. I think that that way of thinking is actually why spirit world doesn't get shit done here and is why this planet is still a third dimensional planet. And because we should have already been a fifth dimensional planet by now. So spirit world kind of pisses me off when it comes to that. It's not just that guide. And like I can tell that that guide is just so brainwashed by the dimension they're from and like their intent was good, but they're just so lost in my perspective. So I'm trying my best to like hold myself back and not like fuck them up with my powers. I'm just trying to like release them, banish them, whatever, because she told me that she was Thoth, then she told me she was Marduk, and she told me all these different names in another freaking body. And I asked her, I was like, why did you do all that? Like, I know now that it's you, so why did you do that? And she said, I was trying to teach you that what really matters is the essence behind names and titles. So she was basically leading me on a wild goose chase to find her by using all these different names, by calling herself different names because she knew that I would channel those names only to find out that it was not the same essence. Like I was basically following her essence through all these masks that she was giving me. And it's like, I understand, if she would have done it once or twice and I maybe found out the mystery in like a couple weeks or a couple months, I wouldn't be upset. But you got to understand, she kept doing this for 5 years and was causing doubt in my mind and like getting me wrapped up in other celestial shit that I actually ended up manifesting as real. Like I was literally getting pulled into other timelines and multiverses with like my assumptions. And literally like she didn't even say sorry. She was like, it was for your own good, like a tough love situation. And I'm just like over here trying not to have a Lucy crash out moment. And yeah. So I just wanted to share that. Like that's what made me make this video, if that makes sense. because I'm kind of like, you you know what it's really similar, like if you guys have ever played Final Fantasy X, it feels like a Yu Yevon slash Unalesca situation. And I'm literally Tidus, so or at least like I was connected to that lifetime. Like my energy was in the character. I was actually merged with someone I know, but out of respect to him, I'm not gonna say his name. But yeah, it's just like that. Like, if you haven't played Final Fantasy X, really recommend it. It will open your eyes to like a lot of shit and make you think about reality differently. So it's like a master class on manipulation. So, and that will teach you a lot about how the manipulation runs on even in the higher realms. So, but it's just like that. Just like that. So, yeah, it's crazy. Basically, like any being, any being that basically does, like any being that genuinely is abusive or like does some fucked up shit and then uses it as a cop out to just say, "Oh, I was doing it for soul growth because suffering's good and I was being a good guy." Like fuck that. Like that is no longer allowed in my kingdom. Like I'm not allowing that shit in my reality, therefore I'm not allowing that in my kingdom. So that's what I say. I say I create my reality. This is my reality. This is my kingdom. I banish any guides that think that suffering is the only way to learn lessons and would dare betray me for that on a personal, emotional level repeatedly to an extent that I express to not. And I banish them on all levels, physically, astrally, in all dimensions, and I seal them and I release them. I am aligned with my own heaven, therefore I am my own God right now. And as the Spirit of God within me, I command that to be so. Like, there's just an example of what you can do. So, and I feel it. I just felt like I literally felt like a release in my chest. Kind of similar to, if you guys ever grew up Christian or Catholic, like, when you pray to Jesus, it's a very similar release. Almost like that oxygenated feeling. Or like when you do the Wim Hof, you feel that oxygen. That's real. Like, that's energy. So I can tell that I literally just shifted. And that basically I basically just quantumly shifted now because we're shifting every second. Like even while I'm making this video, it's just like a movie projector. Like you know how like you guys know like the way video even works and you can see me is because it's just like a bunch of things going down the thing really quick, like a movie projector. It's just like that, like with reality. So pretty crazy. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that if you ever feel like a spirit guide has betrayed you, or like you're kind of just like, what the hell is spirit world doing? I'm gonna just be straight up with you guys. Spirit world really is not like they really, really need to get on the ball. I like, again, it's a lot, but again, you kind of choose too. So, I mean, like, are there good versions of spirit world that you can align to? Yes, but I'm saying like when it comes to the overall collective spirit world that most people are like connected to on this earth, there's a lot of shit, like the same manipulation that goes on in our politics and government on a 3D level, the same shit, if not worse, is going on up there in 5D and in spirit world. Like it's really bad. And it's arguably worse. It's worse, honestly. So it's like It's crazy. But I just want to let you guys know, honestly, don't focus on that shit. The best thing you can do, especially if we are going to change it, like if you do want to focus on it and you want to like kind of, align with me in that sense and help teach the higher ups that no, there is genuinely right and wrong. We're not going to allow this suffering to go on anymore. Because I was literally asking that guide, I was like, why the hell didn't you just tell me? Like, she literally could have just told me, oh, don't. She's like, I could have, sorry. Like, it's pissing me off so bad. I like can't even talk straight. She could have literally just told me that her essence, like it's about the essence, not the names, and that she was doing that for that reason. She could have told me that from the start and then told me her real name, but she didn't, you know? Like, and that literally, like, I would have gotten the same shit out of that. Like, I would have gotten the same lessons. Cause, like, I'm smart enough to actually understand that. Or, like, my other guides could have just told me that the multiverse is real and that there's infinite realities. But no, they made me find out the hard way and made me, like, literally shift to a bad quantum earth where, like, I almost honestly could have never recovered from. Like, I could have, like, literally been on a freaking Illuminati timeline or some shit. I could, like, they handled it so poorly, in other words. And, like, I'm still being, I'm basically being the bigger person in so many ways right now when it comes to, like, how Spirit World, the Galactic Fed, and, like, all these other people have handled my awakening and my journey. And it's just, like, it's an eye opener. Like, no, from what I've seen, like, Spirit World doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And, like, it's rare. But then again, that's only what I've seen so far. I'm coming out of, like, I'm ascending myself, right? So, like, in a weird way, that's like my own soul's darkness. Like, that's me. So, that's like all of that I just talked about, like spirit world and GFL, that's my spirit world and GFL and my soul's journey. But I do believe that, like, I'm tapping into collective shit too. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like, are there good versions? Of course, you just have to align with them inside first. I have failed to do that. So, in other words, this video is basically like the main message is that when it comes to the higher realms and like spirit guides and guidance, it's a mess and it's all over the place because there are literally infinite realities up there too. Like, that's all I'm trying to say is, like, when it comes to the higher dimensions, there's infinite of those too. And, like, you kind of create that too. And you can always start over. Like, that's the main message. And that's something I had to remind myself of today because, like, I'm not gonna lie, it really depressed me. It lowered my frequency. Like, even me talking about how Spirit World and the GFL doesn't know what they're doing is kind of a projection. So I apologize. Let me clear that. I'm sorry, you guys. The GFL and Spirit World only knows what they're doing if you quantumly align to a version that knows what they're doing because you believe it and assume it. There we go. So my bad, guys. See, I'm still learning. Like, I just caught myself. And that's another reason I make these videos too, is because, like, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes going back and watching my own videos can kind of help me out sometimes. Just as a reminder, and like just being able to express this vocally and like get it off my chest, literally and figuratively, like really helps a lot. So thank you guys for listening. I hope this helps. Remember, when it comes to like higher guidance is only as high and as good and as powerful as you deem it to be. And like, yes, that means like even if like a high ranking angel showed up and you know in your heart that like they're no good and like you're more powerful than them, you can kick their ass. Like, But you have to know, but you probably shouldn't manifest that anyway. Sometimes we don't got a choice though, because we get thrown into shit. But then again, you do have a choice. See, like that's like their energy is still affecting me for real. Like they dragged me down a lot. So I'm still dealing with my own subconscious parasitic shadow parts of my own psyche and shit like that. So in other words, all right, the main messages for this though is just like remind yourself that you can change it. You can fire them, like you can fire guides, you can align to, or you can just tell yourself that you accidentally align to a bad parallel of them since there's infinite parallels of those two, and then reshift yourself back to a good version of them. That's a good way to keep your spirit guides, but like at the same time clear out the bad ones, if that makes sense. Like if you genuinely like them as a person, like with that guide that I mentioned, I really like her still and I really like her essence. So I'm not gonna like completely abandon her essence, but when it comes to that version of her, like when it comes to that multiversal version of her, like I'm just gonna, you know, shift away from it, if that makes sense. So it's basically just like this video is just a reminder of your power that like you create your reality and you can shift shit on those higher levels too. And it's like you can shift your entire lore, and that's basically what you call a multi-reality. So you can like literally shift multi-realities. It gets pretty crazy. But there's no limits to what you can do. Like you're limitless basically. And this is Limitless podcast. So but yeah, love you guys. Thank you for kind of letting me get that off my chest. I hope that was enlightening. I apologize. I was kind of projecting a little bit, so I just apologize. Like, remember the GFL spirit world, they're not bad and they're not a mess unless you feel that they are too. I'm just really tapped into my own darkness and the collective right now. And like, I'm just saying, like, the spirit world and shit that like the collective is tapped into, that most like the people that don't understand this shit, like that's what I'm talking about. Like it gets really deep. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of one of my abilities to tap into the collective. So, I mean, look at the world, the world's not perfect. So, but that's why it's important for people like me and you guys that hopefully by now understand that we create our reality. The kingdom of God is within, heaven is within. We can start to like exercise, like we can start to exercise our own godly heaven from within on the external earth. And that's how we will heal the collective. And like, yes, when we heal the collective, we can even change which spirit world. Like we can literally change the spirit world that's connected to the earth. Like it's crazy. Like we can shift, like there's no limits to what we can do. It's pretty cool. So it's all just a matter of how you frame it, right? Like when you frame a question in an interview, it's just like framing scripts, like basically scripting reality, like re-scripting reality, and like being really creative with how you do it. So yeah, in other words, you can take the pen and rewrite your script on every level. That's why I just want to remind you of that. It's not just physically, it's not even just for this lifetime. You can like do what you got to do. Like say your soul's connected to like spirit guides from like a really weird lifetime, and they're kind of assholes in like a tough love situation that are just straight up abusive, but like your soul was letting it go on before you came here. And that's something I went through. You can just basically banish them, you know? And like you don't have to fix it. Like I used to feel like I had to fix it, and I was basically letting myself get walked on, kind of like being in a bad relationship. Like how some people are in a toxic relationship, but they just let it keep happening because they feel like, oh, it's just who they are. Until I finally realized, like, no, I cannot allow that shit to happen anymore. I need to stand up for myself and do what's right for me. So I'm leaving the past in that sense, right? I'm leaving all of those spirits and soul family that treated me bad. They didn't appreciate my boundaries. And, I used to let it go on before incarnating because I used to pass it off as tough love. And so would they. They'd be like, oh, just toughen up. Like, you know how like a big brother or a big sister is like an asshole to their little sibling. And you're kind of like, that's not cool. But it's just like tough love. Fuck that shit. You know? Fuck that shit. Know your worth. And sometimes knowing your worth is leaving spirit guides and bad parallels of your spirit guides and soul family on so many levels. Like you can have different levels of soul families and guides that guide you. So I know this is all over the place. And like, again, I'm pretty ungrounded because I got into it with that guide earlier and I'm fucked up from it, which is why I'm making this. Cause like, I don't know. I kind of realized that like, I feel like in a way, the overarching God of existence is trying to like make me go through this to share my experiences so that you guys can learn through me. So if I ever deal with a problem, I'm just gonna get on here and share, like, because like it makes a good lesson, and it kind of helps me remind myself as I talk to you guys. So, but yeah, much love. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. And remember, don't let like old soul family and like spirit guides betray you and get away with it. Put your foot down, banish them, fight them, fuck, like for real, like just fuck off from them and make them fuck off. Like seriously. Like I'm so done allowing that, and I swear to God, I am going out of my way to like make spirit world cut that shit out. Like I'll change spirit world after I'm done, hopefully helping this place. So, with that being said, much love, guys. Love you guys. Peace out until next time. My bad, guys. One more thing to say real quick. Remember, this gets deep. Like, this applies to even versions of the Prime Creator, and this applies to like versions of the Christian or Catholic God too. There's infinite of those realities too. Like, I've been an archangel in heavens in the past, like in some of my past lives, with a benevolent Christian Catholic God and then a bad Christian Catholic God. And I've been good and bad in both of those scenarios. So it's literally just like when you watch a movie, like when you watch a movie, it's like its own separate bubble in the multiverse that applies with like God here, basically. So remember, you literally script your existence. You script who and what God is. And like, I can assure you guys, one of my goals, like when I get powerful enough, I want to break into those old bubbles and like free people from those Catholic, like those Old Testament Catholic heavens and hell realms. I want to break people out and like free their souls, cuz like even the heaven realms are freaky looking. They're like even the heaven, it's like a soul trap. Like they got soul trapped and they're being siphoned by the devil. Like it gets deep. The devil literally is the Christian Catholic God in some multiverses. And he's just siphoning off of all of them while they're in like a really freaky looking heaven, like a really medieval goldish heaven and hell. And it's just like part of me kind of wants to like go free them for fun when I can and just be like, you know, I think that's where I'm being led to at some point in my journey by like the real prime creator in my opinion, or at least the one that I choose to align to, which is outside of this entire omniverse. But yeah, remember guys, you write it all, you script it all. So even if you have to like step away from a literal bad version of God and align with a better version of God, then do that. You know what I'm trying to say. Blessings. But yeah, guys, like in all seriousness, like I was just thinking as I was making the episode and like I was about to upload it, I just had to say this real quick too. You know, if you feel that their intentions were good, then, you know, of course, you can still have love for them and separate. Like, I can tell, I can tell genuinely that that spirit guide of mine really does believe that what she did was for my own good and she does care about me. It's just she's not human. Like she's literally a celestial being. So she thinks differently, you know, and sometimes that may be misconstrued. And you got to think it's like different cultures up there too. So, but I just want to say that is like, I'm not going to go out of my way and like beef with her. Like, I still love and appreciate her good intent. But I just want to say, like, there's a difference between that and like a spirit guide that is genuinely like an asshole and you can just tell that their intent literally is to cross your boundaries and like you can sense some animosity there, then you know, if you want to get in a little beef or squabble with them, who am I to judge you for it? That's all I wanted to say. But yeah, of course, forgiveness, you know, of course, forgiveness, if possible, is the best. And, you know, no violence and stuff like that. I just want to say that. So, yeah. All right. Now, I promise this time I'll shut up. I'm literally canceling the upload for this episode just to add this on to the end because I feel it's important. Like, I still appreciate her. And I still appreciate the version of the Prime Creator acting through her to do that because it's really complicated. I don't even know if it's really her yet. Like it could have been another being. So to the person's essence I'm thinking about, don't be mad at me if I'm wrong. Cause like I said, this shit gets really complicated. At the end of the day, then that's another reason why it's just best to focus on yourself and what you can control at the end of the day. And like block out and clear out all those other distractions. Create your own guides if you have to, you know? You can literally create your own spirit guide and that can be good too. So yeah, love you guys. Peace out. So yeah, guys, just remember if they're genuinely still good in the sense of like they're not like actively trying to hurt you and like not actively sending spiritual attacks your way. In these situations, you just want to walk away and respectively agree to disagree, which is what I'm doing with this guide of mine. But yeah, like there could be other guides where like if I did what I'm doing with this one, they may try to attack me for it or steal my energy. That's when you want to fight back. That's when you want to give them no mercy. But if they're the kind of guide that's like just verbally an asshole and like an asshole in their decisions, but they're not actually going to go out of their way to fuck you up like energetically. You know, again, it depends on the situation, but just agree to disagree, just walk away. Be the bigger person. You'll feel better about it too in the long run. So, you know, like I'm appreciative of the fact that she's still going to mind her business in that regard, at least. So, yeah, just want to say that. So, again, literally infinite realities, infinite possibilities, infinite situations. Like, no situation is ever a clear cut. Do this, do that, So, every situation is unique. Just remember that. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust God, be your highest potential self, and then it'll be God. You won't have anything to doubt. So, there you go. Take care, guys.